Outsiders. It's your back porch commentators coming to you from somewhere in Missouri, where a firm handshake means more than your signature, and a cold drink can help solve almost any problem. That's what we're planning to do here, bring you along on our journey to the answers to life's questions. You'll get a few facts and a lot of opinions, but remember, we're probably intoxicated and definitely full of shit. So pull up a chair and settle in while we explore some of those most thought-provoking questions, like why is a man bun a thing?
Sorry, I shouldn't have done that.
Threw me off. I was like, oh, you're going. Okay. Welcome. Episode 21.
21. We're legal.
Here we are.
To drink.
Again.
Yeah.
And again and again and again. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice chilly night tonight.
Yeah, a little cool out. I had to pull the hoodie on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talked about that before. Time or two. So you're going to have to fill me in. What are we drinking here?
Well, this is a little something.
I know it's some apple cider of some sort.
Yeah, I had to go to Sam's Club today for dog food and laundry and shit like that. And they had out, all the Christmas shit. I was like, I'm not ready for that. But they did have out some pumpkins and apple cider. And I thought, now apple cider, that's something I can get into. So I picked up a gallon of apple cider, and I just threw some rum and apple cider and cinnamon and apple. And
that works.
Those are I picked those apples.
Yeah?
Yeah, squeezed them myself.
My God, they're getting soft now.
So, a little warm. Something nice on a cool night.
Yeah. Thank
Very
you very much.
fall inspired. I'm like fucking Martha Stewart over here. Only I'm not in jail. And I don't hang with Snoop Dogg. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Doing this episode a little early this week.
A little early.
Schedule things come up, so we're throwing this on a Sunday night. So we're doing this on the Lord's Day.
I got more time to. I'll still wait till Sunday.
I don't blame you at all.
I'm a procrastinator. I work well under pressure. I'll make whatever excuse I got, But
I'm a lot of innators, but
yeah. Sometimes all in one night.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's gonna be October, I guess, by the time this one's out.
Yeah.
So,
man, welcome to the fall, huh?
Yeah, boy.
I'm not ready for it this year.
I am not.
We haven't had much of a summer, like we talked about. No live music, and there haven't been a lot of things going on. No fairs and whatnot.
Right.
And
hasn't felt like
a summer.
Right. We've had hot days, but no, the summer.
Yeah.
Goddamn
Boy, it did get warm, didn't it?
It did. Enough that made me go, I don't want to fucking mow.
Right.
I'll work on the car tomorrow. Fuck it, it's hot.
Yeah.
But whatever.
Yeah.
Do what you gotta do. So, I don't really have any topics for this one.
Seems like that's generally how we get into it.
Kind of waiting on people to email.
Yeah, we've fallen off on that.
Here's what we ought to do.
Okay.
We ought to give them an hour of awkward silence. And we'll just keep doing that until they give us something to talk about.
That sounds like foreplay to me. An hour of awkward silence until we find something to do.
Fine, let's stick on the button.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. No, not a lot to talk about this week. Seems like things are kind of slowing down a little bit. I guess with fall coming up,
Yeah. Pretty sure the kids are going to go to online school here pretty quick.
I got a feeling that's coming too. It seems like every day there's a notice, an email of some sort saying somebody's been positive. As soon as the school gets enough in that they'll get their funding, I think is when they'll go to the virtual.
You're probably right.
Yeah,
probably right. Yeah, I'm not ready for that. I don't probably deal with any of it really. You'll probably deal with it more than I will.
Yeah, but that I feel bad because I can do my best, but I am not an educator.
Right.
And I still have to make, and there's a lot of people who still have to make a living.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's been so long now. Because I remember when the kids had homework, last year and stuff. But then they've been out of school since fucking April or whatever it was. Yeah. And I was like, so now it's like, they're kind of getting to that point where they're getting some homework. And I'm like, if you come to me with that shit,
Got nothing for you.
I don't know. They teach it so different now.
Oh yeah,
It's like
even Jack working on subtraction. He was
yeah,
counting.
you gotta like
He was like counting. No, he was counting down
oh really
somehow, and I'm like, that is not how I was taught at all. But he got the right answer, and so I'm like,
right.
I'm not going to teach him my way just so
Yeah.
we're on the same page, and then have him go to class. And
Well, and then yeah, so then they gotta show their work,
right,
and they gotta show it the way the teacher showed them how to do it.
right.
So, it's
So as
like,
long as he's getting the right answer, then. But I can't help him when it comes to that.
oh man,
I got no fucking clue what he's doing.
I spent so much time on YouTube and Google trying to figure out the new way to do shit so that I could help my kids.
Nope.
And I didn't really understand all of it the first time through.
Right.
Let alone trying to relearn it at 35,
get
36, 37, you know. It's
Yeah.
like,
I always got accused of looking at the answers in the back of the book. And I was like, well, that would work if I didn't have the even answers right, too, with the same amount of
right.
work there. So
Yeah.
maybe that's just...
Blame all you want, bitch.
Yeah, maybe that's just how my mind works.
Right.
You know, I don't know what to tell you. And then I went on to... I went to DeVry for a short time, and I actually was like third in my class when it came to, you know, that kind of the college algebra or whatever. And I was just like, looks like I was doing it right after all.
Now, was that like electronics or
Yeah.
what was it? It was something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was computer tech or electronic tech or whatever.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
I understand. Yeah. Well, I'm sure you could use some of that now anyway. Is anything retain?
No, not really. I mean, I can still count with my toes and stuff, you know.
Good.
I can count until at least 11.
Yeah.
That's
not your toes.
Nope. But no, it's you know, and the goofy part is now they're talking about Halloween being canceled.
Oh man.
And I haven't seen any like advertisement for pumpkin patches being open or anything.
Right.
So
well, they did the Southside Fall Festival thing or whatever it was, where they do the pumpkin lighting.
right, they
and
did
all
that. They did that on like
like
Line
virtual
or something.
live.
Right.
Yeah, it was like a
I'm like, who the
Facebook
fuck
live
even,
stream.
who even tuned in for that? I wonder.
I don't know.
Like they were like, oh shit, that was on. I was watching reruns, man.
Darn it.
How I Met Your Mother was on. I got sidetracked, and then it was over.
Yeah, well, there was something I was going to watch last night, actually. I shared it on Facebook, and then I totally forgot about it. I was like...
Oh, the irony.
And then this morning I got on, and I was like, oh, yeah, that thing. Oh, well, it's gone. It's gone. It was something out at college. They were doing some thing, and I was like, I wasn't really interested in watching it, but it was more of like me saying, okay, support the arts.
Right.
Because... Right. I'm kind of in the arts on the side, and so I'm like, man, you know, if I'm going to say it's that important, then I should put $10 where my mouth is and go,
right.
there you go, you know.
Right. No, I get that.
Whether I watch it or not, it's like, I'm not sure I understand these kids and their
art,
their views, because you know it was going to have something to do with, you know, they were going to have some political view there, and it's like.
Sure.
As much as I talk about being liberal, it's very not the liberal that the young kids are.
And it's not even it's not even the young kids as much as it is the media's agenda,
right,
to separate,
right.
You know,
oh, yeah.
Because I mean it's like that on the right. Because if you're a patriot, ultimately you're a cousin fucking, you know, KKK member that, you know, and that's. Not the case anymore.
Right.
Than, you know, liberals or transgender, you know, vegans.
Tree hugging.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Yeah. It just
yeah.
the sides are not as far apart as what they want us to think they are.
And it's very unfortunate.
Yeah, and ultimately it's a miscommunication more than anything.
Very much.
Because I mean there's like a few standard points that the liberals and conservatives really want to trigger, you know.
Right.
Abortions. You know, right to life, gun laws,
troops,
military,
taxes,
taxes, what the government, and ultimately, It doesn't matter what any of us want. The government's going to do what
They're
they
gonna
want.
do
Yeah, they're going to do what they want and
Yeah.
what they see fit.
Well,
That's
they're
why
beholden
there's
to
term limits.
their owners.
Right.
Who
And,
have bought them.
right. Well, and that's the other thing is, they think that the policies change with the term limits of the president, and that's not the term limits we should be concerned about.
Correct.
So, and that's something I don't think anybody can disagree on. When you've got the face
No.
of it of the country saying, well, you can only be here for 8 years max, 4 years at a time, and then you got everybody that's running the show and voting everything in there for 35 and 40 years
Right.
and literally shitting their pants on stage, as I assume you've probably seen that clip, have you?
I have not.
Yeah. There's
Who was this one?
I believe it was Jerry Nader.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like making a speech, and then like you can see him like,
Ooh.
and like he waddles sideways like off the stage, like, and I was like, oh, now
It's
while
like,
everybody
I'll be back.
and everybody recognizes that because everybody's been there.
You've seen that, yeah.
Like, oh, that one snuck up on me.
Yeah.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Oops. It goes back to a couple episodes ago.
Right. So I don't know, man.
Yeah.
If we're like we said before, if we're bickering, then we're not paying attention to what they're really doing.
Right.
So
Yeah. And I think this year's gotten so bad because of the social distancing and nobody's getting out and all this, and so you're just kind of fed whatever
right.
they want to feed you,
And we're all irritated
not so
and
much
on
communication,
edge.
and, yeah.
Right.
And everybody's on edge, and just I had a conversation with my son about that. Is he was worried about something? One of his teachers, he thought one of his teachers was treating him differently than she was before, and he's like all worried that it was because of what somebody else said and this and that. And I was like, if you think so, then bring it up as
Hey, I'm concerned about
I
this.
think I heard somebody said something about me, and I'm worried that you see me differently because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say I think you're treating me wrong or
Right.
whatever.
Well, that's a good way to
And because he was ready to like go in and just be like,
Rip ass.
you're I was like, nope.
Nope.
Pull back the reins here. But yeah, he was I forget where I was going with that totally, but it was much more of like, just here's how you communicate with people, and here's how
Right.
and I told him, I said, who knows what she's dealing with in her life,
Right.
maybe there's something going on in her life, and right that day that she was talking to you, everybody's stressed, you're stressed,
Right.
I was like, how are you gonna just put all that on one conversation you have with somebody, and
Right.
think that she's
Being
she
different.
hates you now.
Right. No, I get that.
And because it was what she said was basically, yes, I'll help you, but what the way she said it was, mean or something.
Right.
And I was like, okay.
Okay. Well. Yeah. And at that age, it's. I think everybody, male, female,
Right.
I think they're all self-conscious and
Yeah. Well, we've been,
whatnot.
working on social cues and things like that, and because that's one of his big things is understanding certain social cues, and it's an autism thing,
Right.
and so that was, I was like, well, here's a good learning point here.
Yeah, that's a life experience. There,
Right.
Really.
Yeah.
I mean,
So yeah, that was one thing I was going to talk about last week and forgot or ran out of time or whatever. I was like, well, so.
I can't imagine us ever forgetting anything.
Right. Not at this age.
Not at this age.
While we're drunk at the end of an episode.
Halfway through the week when we're struggling with sleep.
By the way, I wish we would have kept this rolling after last week's episode, because we got into something. And
I don't even-
it was
yeah.
like
Another hour.
Oh my God. I was laughing so fucking hard. And sorry y'all missed that.
Yeah.
It would have been bonus, but we turned it
Especially for on the camera.
Yeah.
Especially on the camera.
That would have been good. But, oh well.
Yeah. Now,
It's a nice night.
yeah, it is. Not bad.
I love it.
Too bad we didn't have a fire.
Right.
I had a friend swing by the shop friend, work associate, whatever, and comment on he'd been listening to an episode and said he was like, man, that Keep On Rolling with the Flow song, that was that was my song too back in the day. And we got to talking about life and women and stuff. And a comment was made, something, you know, in reference, you know, about marriages and, you know, my relationship with Jack's mom come up then at that point, and we got to talking, and it made me start thinking a little bit about how many people are married and stay married just because there's nothing else to do. And at the same point,
They're
like,
too tired to go through the separation.
Yeah, and
the paperwork.
At the same point, you know, how many people out there, it seems like, are in such a hurry just to find a mate. And then there's that rare, like, 10% or less, I would say less at this point, but that's me being a pessimist about that, that are like you, that found somebody that's soulmate material, and, and it's easy, and you guys make it work, and you're happy, and all that stuff. And then there's people out there like me that never bite the bullet because you get halfway there and you're just like, hey, you know what? This is just...
Is it worth it?
Is it really worth it? And once they take the tax breaks away from me, it's just really not. You know, I'm damn near 40, and it's like, I can cook. I've got a clothes, like a washer and a dryer. And that's not meant to sound misogynistic, but typical gender roles
being what they are.
And let's be honest, when you get with somebody, that's originally what it was for, is we're going to make babies, and I'm going to do this, and you're going to do this, and we're going to make life easier for each other being together. Right. 2
incomes are much better than one.
Well, even before that, you know, the man had the income and work, the woman took care of the house and the kids together. Yeah. You know, the woman supported the man so he could function, so he could bring home and have money to provide for everybody so they could continue to function. Right. It was a team effort. It wasn't one more important than the other. It's just, that's the way things were suited. I mean, you can lift rocks a lot easier than your wife can. It's, and back then, and up until a certain point, that's what marriage was.
And
it was a combined effort.
Better than I can.
Right. You both brought things to life that made life better. Right. And now, with technology as it is, women can buy a vibrator and have a paycheck, and men can buy a dishwasher and a washing machine, and you know, it's like, it's not the same. The same feelings, and so it really makes me wonder when people are in such a damn hurry at 20 years old to get married, or even at our age when they've been through 3 or 4, and they bring all that past shit and they just get into it. And it's like, how many people are just in it to be in it? And I get the emotions and everything that are behind it, but man,
that's the tough thing, is you want to tell people, you know, you can't bring in all the past stuff into this one. But you're how human. Can you not? You're human. You know? I mean, there's no way you can, because that is the experience you had. Right. And you can't forget that. But it's in a way it's not fair to the new person, but in a way it's just that's what they're taking on.
Everybody's got baggage. Right. I mean, I think, but I really think if you've made it to like 35 and 40 and you're on your 3rd or 4th round, maybe this time just don't sign the paperwork. Right. You know what I'm saying? Because at this point, you've lost the flavor of what marriage really is supposed to be anyways, because you're on your 3rd, 4th, 5th round, whatever, right? Right. So maybe just, you know, unless you've been together for 10 years and you're like, you know what, we could save a little money on taxes. And
I have, maybe I shouldn't, but... I have a take on some of that. Is, you know, I think people give up way too easily.
I'll agree with that.
Much more easily than they used to, anyway.
Well, people's word, because that's what it really comes down to. Yeah. Is your word. Yeah. And people give up on their word a lot easier now.
Oh yeah.
For selfishness.
They do, and I just think, man, it's. Maybe I'm just different.
I don't know. You know, the past generations, though, you can't tell me that people didn't have anything to do. I mean, we've got more on our plates nowadays than anybody ever did in the past. Yeah. I mean, they got up with the basic function of just survival.
Yeah.
Like, we're planting these crops from dusk till dawn or whatever. We're raising these cattle so we can eat.
Right.
I mean, that was it. And nowadays, we have a lot more on our plates, but at the same time,
A lot more time on our hands too.
yeah, and we spend it trying to fulfill urges of such. And the only reason people get caught as much today is technology. You know, you can't tell me our grandparents, our great grandparents, 300 years ago, people weren't fucking around just as much as they are now.
Right.
If not more so, because who was
the
gonna,
needs are still there.
Yeah. If you didn't make it home, why didn't you call? I couldn't find a smoke signal, honey. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like,
and back then, you could move 2 towns away
and never
run
know
into each other
yeah,
again. That
right.
was like
Right. So like like people were fucking around just as so and they still made the marriages work. They still made that shit work, you know? So but I mean when you look at the ratio of why there's divorces, it seems like most of the time there always is because there's somebody else.
Yeah. Probably.
I mean, how many times you hear about people getting divorced just because it's not working and then like 2 weeks later they're out,
right?
You know, shacking out.
Well,
or out at the bar fucking trying to get holes filled.
I think a lot of people claim financial issues or money problems, you know, on their relationship problems, but now you're gonna go cut that in half,
right?
You know, I don't know. I just feel like people, you loved each other enough once to get married,
right?
Most of the time, people don't change that much.
No, it's usually they one feels wrong,
right?
It's miscommunicated, and then they just go back and forth trying to wrong each other to one up,
right?
And it accelerates,
and that's your problem, not
right.
you. But I mean, that's
I was gonna say
that's
you've been naughty. Why didn't you just tell me what was bothering you?
Right. That's what was bothering me.
More lube. Your calluses hurt.
It's got to get wet every now and then.
Conditioner is better.
Sometimes it is. Really softens things up, you know?
I had a girl give me a hand job once with Vaseline. I came like 3 times trying to wash it off in the shower.
Oh.
But
it's much better the 3rd and 4th time.
Yeah.
Vaseline, huh?
That was a complete joke. I've never had a girl try and give me.
I was like, wow,
I've never had a girl try and give me. In all honesty, I can only think of about 3 girls in my entire existence that have ever gave a quality hand job. Usually, it's like they're trying to peel the skin off or something. You know, like you don't. It's not a weed eater, honey. You don't have when it's jerking off. You're not actually like tugging on it. You know.
You hear the joke about the girl that was trying to figure out how to give a hand job and her, I don't know if it was her dad or what. He was like, all right, here's what you do. It's like trying to get ketchup out of the bottle, right? And so she's like, okay, you know. And so she grabs it. It's like, well, at least you didn't grab a butter knife. You know? Come on.
I heard about a middle school principal that got arrested because he was having these middle school girls put their fingers in his hoo-ha.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Ooh.
I was like, despite the whole issue in itself of what just happened there, like
I can't even drink anymore.
Yeah, it's like he did what he's saying. He did what?
Wow.
I guess the fingers were smaller. Fucking no.
He's like, we should open up a preschool.
Oh, Jesus.
They're like, why?
Honey, I'm converting to Catholicism and I'm opening a preschool.
Oh, boy. Forgive me.
What is it? Is it right, left, or is it left, right?
North, south, east, west.
North. Wait, it would be east, west, wouldn't it?
I don't
North,
know.
south, east, west.
I always go left, right.
Spectacles, testicles, wallet, lodge.
Was the wallet watch?
I don't remember.
Okay, I don't know.
I'd keep my wallet on the left side.
I might have done it the wrong way for
Years.
18
Well, maybe
years,
that's
whatever.
maybe that's why you fell out of it. So
I
maybe
didn't
you were
do it
just,
right.
You were just fucking crossing the
God
wrong
says,
way. Look at no.
We can't
No,
save this one.
no,
We can't
he's
save
out. We're
this one.
done.
He's done.
He's fingering it all wrong.
And I'm like, I guess he's done it. And he's like, yeah, get the fuck out of here. Man. What's wrong with the Mackey kid?
Oh man.
Sorry, Father Leitner and Father Miller and Father Bruce. And wasn't your fault. It was
Sorry, Daddy.
It was I didn't have daddy issues. I had father issues.
Completely different. Oh
boy.
shit.
I don't know, man. If we
Well,
don't get letters off of this one.
Yeah. bjontherock@gmail.com. Because if you don't email, you ain't black. I think that's what Joe Biden said. Have you not seen that one?
I've not seen
He's like,
that
if
one.
you don't know who to vote for, then you ain't black.
You ain't
or if
black.
you vote for Trump, you ain't black.
Oh.
I was like,
Man,
man, you guys are really pushing this agenda, aren't you?
these two guys, man.
I'll tell you what.
What the fuck? I mean, I'm going to try to do this without saying that Trump's an imbecile, all right? But if you can't find someone in this country who can defeat Trump, I mean, holy shit.
You know, I think
This is the best we got.
part of the reason I do like Trump is because he is point blank.
But
And,
he's full of shit.
and he does not give a shit. I mean, he's the confidence.
I'm
that-
not even sure he knows what he's talking about at this point.
It's the confidence. I mean, you got to fake it before you make it. That's kind of how I look at it. And
But at 77 years old.
and he has done a lot. He signed a lot of good bills, and a lot of for agendas that the Democrats have pushed. He's signed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think what we're completely missing is everybody's bickering over two men when you don't realize that those are just the two people that they've put in front of us.
Vote Joe Jorgensen, third candidate, right?
And the thing is
Libertarian's the way to go anymore. I don't know.
while I agree with that, at the same point, excuse the phrase, I don't want to waste a vote.
All right, no, I totally
Because
agree.
that all that libertarian
There-
vote throws
Right.
it more of a competition between the two. It just, and it's sad.
It's very sad.
It is sad because and there's been
We need like
several-
8 parties in this country, I think.
right, but it always comes back to where the money is
Or fuck the party.
and just find an
Here's
individual.
some fucking people.
And that's one thing
Yeah.
I think that the Republicans that don't agree with Trump, I think that does better because he broke into the system. They didn't pick him.
Right.
He just had enough money to get in there.
But now they're bowing down and sucking his dick for whatever. It's like, wow, where did
'Cause
your
there's-
spine go, McConnell?
Because
Jesus fucking
there's
Christ.
too much money involved.
Right. Somebody owns them. And, like we said, they ain't doing shit for us.
No. When it comes right down to it, we're just along for the ride.
Yep.
So,
The freak show.
And if people want to bicker about that and waste their life doing it, then
Yeah.
I mean, if you can really tell me the last time that a president's decision has directly affected you,
Never.
then you got one up on me.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
I mean, other than a $1,200 check, yeah.
You know? Like,
And Trump did sign some that had a great effect on my taxes as a business goes, but
No.
that's you know, that could have happened with any president.
Right.
Honestly,
Right.
just depends on what side of the board they're wanting to play.
yeah.
You know, so
Oh, it's amazing, though. I mean, I don't get why people base their identity so much on the president
yeah.
anymore. It's like,
because they just
He ain't
want
done shit
something
for
to,
you, you know.
they just want something to bicker over. I think
Right.
people have, if you're really out there, because if you ask a homeless guy who they want to vote for, they give two shits.
Right.
They're more concerned about finding shelter and
It's like,
food.
well, are any of them going to put a roof over my head?
Right.
No?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. If we got back to actually where we had to want for some things in life, then, I doubt we'd bicker so much over the
You know,
little shit.
yeah. And you and I talked about that. It was years ago. It was probably a good 7 or 8 years ago. We were talking about how society almost needs to just fucking fall and start over.
Right.
To
so we can
so
appreciate
we can rebuild. Yeah.
And it's, when you lose everything, I think,
Yeah.
I would like to compare. I mean, if you want to hear comparing, speaking of the marital thing, if you want to compare the marital issues of people that are in like millionaire status versus the marital issues of people that are broke as poor,
Yeah.
or right on the verge of where they can't get help,
Right.
but they're also broke.
Yeah.
They make
spent
enough,
a lot
but
of
not
time
enough.
there.
Yeah, that middle ground.
We spent a lot of time there.
So it's and it's like if you want to compare the marital issues of those two people, that would be as close as you could get to a modern struggle of what humanity's struggled with for centuries before
Right.
the last 100 years. I mean, really, in America, anyways.
And fuck, especially the last 50.
Right
I mean,
after World War II,
yeah.
essentially when
Yeah.
we became the greatest country ever.
Now we're 2020, so
Yeah,
it's been 70 years.
yeah, yeah, getting there.
Crazy, man.
Yeah.
80 almost. Fuck.
Mm.
Wow.
I'm kind of proud
Yeah,
of that. That's not too bad.
You know, it really turned out all right.
Yeah, not bad for hair lift, like my dad said.
First, it was kind of
You mix it up a
you
little
get
bit.
it a little bit. You're good.
Yeah, it's all right. Not too shabby.
Like marriage, Stick with it. It's gonna get better.
The deeper you get into it,
Here's what somebody, and I don't know if anybody needs to hear this advice or not. Probably
Who
not,
gives
but
a
I'm
shit?
going to say it anyway.
because I have a
One of
microphone.
yeah. And I don't know. After 19 years of marriage, I feel like I have some amount of here's some advice.
Validity.
Someone said once that basically you can't, if you marry somebody, right?
Right.
You marry them as they are,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they marry you as you are. You
Right.
can't try to go change everybody now, right? Like, now 10 years down the road, you go, no, you're drinking too much. You're doing this, but that's what they were when you married them, Now,
I believe people grow together or they grow apart.
if they're fucking around, that's different, right? If they're out there fucking around, that's different. Adultery is different when it comes to that. That's
A different
for some
path.
people, it's completely unforgivable.
Right.
For some people, it's okay, let's work through it from here, whatever.
Right.
But for the most part, people, if you don't like, oh, they smoke or oh, they drink or well, what'd they do when you met,
Right.
Once you say, I'm going to marry you, that's the acceptance of I accept you as you are.
Right.
And chances are, anything that changes from then on, you're changing just as much. But I don't know.
I'll agree with that. Like I said, I think people either grow together or grow apart. And while I think if everything happens, affects people differently.
Oh yeah.
If somebody has a parent die, some people don't give a shit. And other people, it's the end of the fucking world.
Right.
Or if they have a child that gets sick, some people can't handle it and they fall into alcoholism, and somebody else feels like they need to be productive. And if you're not there for each other and growing at that same pace and communicating, then you're going to pick different paths, and that's when people change. I think largely is you get so self-involved that you are more worried about your own pain than your significant others or how you're viewing things, and that's when you really grow apart. I read something once that said a woman gets married to a man and sees the person that he can be and can change him into.
Right.
And a man gets married to a woman and hoping to God that she doesn't change.
Please just stay like
Just
you are.
Stay a size 2, please, baby. Don't get wrinkly.
Right.
But
then
no.
you'd also have kids and all.
Right.
You know.
And here's the thing.
But
We as
please
men
don't
are
say.
brought up from an early age to be, we're supposed to be this way. We're supposed to be leaders. We're supposed to be hard workers and blah, 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 blah. So we're kind of taught self-value early on. Women are taught that to an extent, and then they really don't fall into it, I don't think, until they get a little older. So men and women are naturally just on a different path. Where men were taught it's okay to go after what we want. Women have this certain time frame that they have to grow to a place where they have enough self-confidence and self-worth to go after what they want. And usually by the time that happens, they're already married with kids. And
Right.
you either have a spouse that's supportive of that or spouses that don't support that. And that can be the same for men, I guess, too, because really I didn't really start chasing after my shit until my mid-20s and even I'd say 28 I really bit off. And because at 30 I was a completely different person than 20. And while that's
Oh yeah.
pretty normal for people, I think it's that level of growth. And
But you're growing together usually. If you're talking about relationships.
I think that the growing together is not as usual as it used to be.
Oh.
I
So you're
think,
saying we're uncommon, is what you're saying?
yeah, I would say your experience is not the common. I believe your thought process is the right thing.
Yeah.
I just don't think that there's very many people out there that find a significant other where both are accepting of growth and accepting of support and willing to give up and be selfless. And the thing is in any relationship, this is one thing I've learned, there's always one person, and it may go back and forth, but there's always one person that feels like they're giving more than the other person. So if the other person isn't showing their appreciation for such support, then the other person's feelings aren't validated, and it can go back and forth so many times that eventually they're just there's too much water under the bridge, and there's not enough communication to resolve that.
Right.
But that's my experience from being in several relationships.
Several relationships. I've been in one. So
Well,
I
I
don't
can
know.
I can
I'm weird,
honestly say I've only
but-
got like 2 significants.
well, true. Yeah.
But and most of the rest were very short time periods.
Yeah.
But when you see that coming out of people, it's like, I can see where this is going.
And
Same old shit.
There's been
You don't
people that-
have to get 4 miles down a dirt road to figure out that maybe that's too muddy. I don't need to drive down
Right.
and get stuck to figure out.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's keep going.
Yeah. Once you got the momentum, just keep plowing through.
How bad could it get?
Right, and I only have that belief for one thing, and that's butt sex. I mean, if you got enough momentum to keep going through the
Muddy
mud,
could it get?
how muddy can you get? Just let the momentum go. Don't let up. And then when you're finished, you're on the other side, and it's
Right.
over. You know, you can break up with me. You can delete my number. You can
Maybe.
erase my pictures, but you'll never unlick my butthole.
That's true. I mean, not for me. Look. You guys have no idea. No, but there have been people that I've known that have almost been happy when they got divorced
Oh, yeah.
or separate. Because I'm like, that was never going to work from the start.
Right.
But I didn't know you when you got together, so.
Right. But in all
Yeah, or-
honesty, how much life
I would've
experience
told him either.
did you have at 14, 15 years old, whatever, when you and Tish got together that would have told you that this is going to work?
None.
Because, I mean, I remember at 16 being in love
Right.
and seeing nothing but white picket fence.
Yeah.
You know, we didn't want kids, but we wanted dogs, and I considered that the same page.
We'll go with that.
We'll go with that.
Yeah. No, and that's why I don't usually give my advice to people, because it's like I know
It's
that
so
we
unique to every
happen
person.
differently.
You two definitely
Very
have.
differently. Like I know
Yeah.
one other couple who is a lot like me and Tish,
Right.
and who's like our age, and I
Right.
was like, but yeah, otherwise it's like, that was just the way people were. They got together early and they got married young, but
Staying together.
man, we were told by so many people we weren't going to work out.
Just because of the youth
Yeah.
aspect of things.
And so I think, not that we weren't in love, but I think some of our early days was like, we're gonna stick together no matter what, just to show these fucking people that we know what we're fucking doing, you know.
Right.
And it wouldn't have been any better if we, you know, got separated. It was, you know, it was like the early days of, you know, rice and beans and, you know, robbing from Peter to pay Paul type of
Right.
thing, and you know your credit's going like up and up and up. Credit debt, not credit score, because you know this is how you do it. And it's like, and but we did it together. And I'll tell you, there was one, and I want to say, we're getting way off topic, I think, but anyway,
I don't think we had a topic.
we didn't. It's just true, we didn't, and you knew that going in. But you know. People think that we have some kind of storybook relationship, but there was a time where we were like almost like roommates. You know, we were just living together, and it was like, you know, you're working all the time. You're just trying to get through, pay the bills, raise the kids, you know, and just trying to keep a roof over your head, you know, long enough to get to a point where you can like grow, right?
Right.
And fucking roommates at the point, you know. And I've told a few people this story, but one day I was going through our garage and I was like looking for something. I was come across this memory box that we had put together in high school, right? And that's how long we've been together, right? The high school memory box, right? And come across this thing, and I'm going through pictures and letters and just like different things we put in there, you know, concert tickets and movie tickets and whatever, you know. And it was like, I stood in the garage and just like started crying.
Right.
It was like falling in love all over again. And that's, I guess what I want to say is, you fell in love once with this person, right? And they fell in love with you. Something changed, you know, and I feel like some people just maybe give up a little too quick, and it could be one or the other, right? But they need to both
gratification
get together, and it's gonna take some work. You know, you didn't fall out of love instantly,
right?
You know, it's like you can. I think a lot of it, I don't know, could be worked out. But if you don't want to, you don't want to, and I'll get off my soapbox.
Oh no, I think you got some good points. I really do.
I'm just trying to help anybody that might need to hear this. I don't know.
The other portion of that needs to be included is it does take two. It takes two to fall out. It takes two to fall back in.
Definitely. If one isn't going to be involved, it ain't going to happen.
If they're too busy looking over the fence at what their three other divorced friends have already went through.
Right.
You know, and that's largely who you surround with, and that is individual choices, not your spouse's choices. That's an individual choice. If you start spending all your time in a relationship, going out with your single friends and going out with that atmosphere, then eventually you're going to, because the grass is always greener on the other side.
Sure, until you get there.
Right. I mean, there's times where I've known married people that are just, you know, like I've been out at a bar and they're like, man, how you? And in the same sense, I'm home alone at night jerking off with lonely tears. Right. So it's like, there's highlights to both sides. It is what it is. But people are so concerned with instant gratification. It's easier to look at something shiny on the side as opposed to looking at something that you know is sturdy built, but you're going to have to dump $100 in and work on it 3 weeks and sand it and prime it and paint it back and repair it. And it just, you know.
We talk about songs a lot on here. There's a song, and it's by Kenny Chesney. And I don't usually listen to a lot of Kenny Chesney anymore.
Not turtly enough for the Turtle Club.
Right. But anyway, but there's a song, and I don't know who wrote it. Probably not him, but that's just the way it is. Right?
How dare you?
Oh, yeah. I've heard some of the songs he's written, and it's not that great. But
talking wop wop wop.
Right. Anyway, he's got a song called "When I Think About Leaving."
I've heard that one. Yeah, that'll hit a chord. Won't it?
You listen to that driving home at night by yourself. You go. All right.
Sack up. Go take care of shit.
It's gonna get better.
Yeah.
You know, and maybe it's not all me. You know, maybe it's not all her. It's, you know. So, if y'all want to listen to that song,
Yeah.
it's Kenny Chesney when I think about leaving, and some of the lines in that are kind of like really made sense to me. You know, it was like, oh, okay, yeah. And not that I thought about leaving, but it was like,
Right.
man, if I thought about leaving, what would it be? You know,
Mm-hmm.
this is, you know, looks great from the outside sometimes, but you know, then you go there, like you said.
There's two sides to every story.
Yeah,
There
exactly.
always is.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's one thing that I will say when I hear people bitch about their marriages anymore. It usually almost one, I don't take it with too much of a grain of salt, and two,
you're getting one side.
right. And the
Yeah.
other thing is it almost makes me think that it's almost more that sided because they're the ones vocalizing it to me as, let's be honest, not a stranger, but maybe, you know,
Yeah.
not somebody that really needs to know.
Right.
And and I'm always like,
Yeah.
your mind's already made up. I don't know what you're talking to me for. You're not going to get affirmation from me. So
Right.
you've already made your choice. Just either sack up and do it or go home and fix it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Uh,
What really pisses me off is those people that go out by themselves and then have a good time. They flirt all night. They might not actually ever cheat, but then they go home and then they feel guilty and they want to go back and forth about it. It's like, why don't you just make a fucking decision? You either do it or don't, but quit dragging people into your shit.
right. Yeah. No, that I didn't used to go out ever, right?
Right.
And speaking of, you know, getting into your dreams later in life, right? I've gone out a lot lately. Not this year as much, but
Wait, when you go out,
last
you don't
few
really
years.
go out and party. It's either
I'm going out to play.
you're
right?
going out to play.
and I'll get fucked up sometimes, but after I'm done
You're
playing.
welcome.
But you know, and I've started playing the song "Good Hearted Woman" by Waylon and Willie, and like, I'll be honest, that song has almost brought me to tears on stage
A couple times?
because it's like, oh man. When
Here
the
I
party,
am.
You know, here I am. I like the nightlife, and good time friends, and you know, when the party's over, she'll welcome me back home. You know,
All right.
and she never complains about the bad times. You know, and it's like, fuck, that's my wife. You know, she's a good-hearted woman, and I'm just a good-time man. And
Right.
you know, if there's anything about me you like, it's probably what she has created.
Well,
for me.
you know, I think there's a certain level. I know a lot of married guys that wives think that they'd be out fucking around, and most of the time they're just out blowing off steam and having a
Oh
drink.
yeah,
That being said, if you put yourself in stupid places and stupid shit happens,
yeah,
you know, it's a choice.
yeah.
But it
Oh,
seems
if I
like
went out looking for it, it'd
oh,
be different.
it'd be different, yeah. But like you and I, like you out and play, and I show up where you are. You usually get finished playing, and then we sit there and drink and
Right.
bullshit, just like
Make
we
fun
do
of people.
on. It's just like this podcast
It's just
almost.
this podcast. That's why we got together on this.
Right, we've been saying it for 2 years
Yeah,
because
we
we
could do
just
this.
have the same fucking conversations. It's just there's not a mic in front of them.
Right.
So, but it seems like if women go out in a group, there's always one that can't whore by herself. You know, if a guy goes out and he's like, man, I'm going to whore around. The other dudes are like, dude, I don't want to know. I don't want your wife calling my wife. I don't want to fucking
Right.
know a thing. You do it. Don't involve me. Don't say my name. I don't want to know. If you
Yeah.
go to the bathroom and you disappear, that's all I know.
That's all I know.
That's all I know. Now, women, on the other hand, are like, I'm going to fuck around with my husband, but I'm going to bring you with because he's got a friend and I don't want to do this alone, so you can't. It seems, but that's my impression as
wow.
a dude, as watching from a social aspect over the years. Women can't do that by themselves.
Wow.
Men can whore around, and it's like, we don't want to know. The less we know, the better.
Yeah.
Don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
You know?
If women do, it's probably because they've already built a connection with whoever they're going with, I guess, and I don't know.
Yeah, and they back each other up, whatever. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. Like I said, there's a different mentality to men and women on that level, I would think. And the funny thing is women are always the ones that are like, you probably went out drinking fucking around. And the guy's like, I just didn't want to be home for like 3 hours. I just wanted to tell the old war stories that
Right.
remind me of when I had hair and my dick worked, and I can and prove to my buddies
Yeah.
that I can still do 5 shots of tequila and fucking walk to the bathroom by myself.
Or like us for a long time, it was like, well, I haven't actually seen him in 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Right.
we work together, we talk all the time, but we haven't seen each other forever. You know?
Right. Because if I was working,
So, yeah.
you were off, and
yeah.
if you were working, I was off. There was no intermediate.
Or we were each at our little jobs.
Right.
You know? Because we each had 2 or 3 at the time. And it was like, yeah. All right, kids. That's how you get through the early days. You have 2 or 3 jobs.
Yeah, and you don't have time or energy to fuck around and do stupid shit.
No. Yeah.
Yeah. Common goals, I think, would hold couples together a lot.
Yeah.
You know, if they've got something they're both working on.
And that's...
Common entities, whether it's family or whether it's paying off the house.
You're
whether
right.
It's,
I think that's helped us a lot, too.
right.
It's
The struggle.
common goals, and we were going through each struggle together. I mean, it wasn't
Right.
like she was going through something and I was like, well, that's on you. You know?
Right.
It was like, oh, you got this going on? All right, let's figure out how to do this. You know?
Right.
And,
People don't seem to take lessons, though, from that shit. Like,
I guess.
they're hearing about those stories or the second marriage, they don't take those lessons on.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, and like you said, it takes two. You know, we're talking about it takes 2 people. You know,
Yeah.
and if one person gets too bitter and you guys get to a point where you're going to counseling and one person's like, I'm not going to counseling, or you're
Right.
going through shit and one person's just too far gone, they're not willing to say, okay, you're right, I've done some shit wrong, you've done some shit wrong, let's just focus on what's important and rebuild this a little bit. If they're too focused,
Forgive
they're
and
too
start
hard.
right now.
Right, and then the one person's like, man, I really miss this marriage, I shouldn't have done my part in those things, and then they go to the second marriage. They don't have that thought of, I shouldn't fuck that up
Haven't
again.
learned that lesson.
Yeah, it just seems like they do it over and over again. And that's why by the time you're like 35 and 40, where we are, like, I'm looking at what's available on the market right now, and I'm going,
Don't worry, there'll be a few more come up.
right. And that's the other thing. I think women get really pissed when men our age like date younger women. They're like, oh, it's just because she hasn't has kids or she's younger. And I'm like, no, maybe she's just not bitter as fuck about everything.
Right.
Doesn't have anything to do with what she looks like. She's just not got 3 kids from 2 baby daddies, and you know.
But now when you guys separate, you've only got 30 years left to be bitter about it.
Right.
She's got
40?
40 years.
Who gives a shit though at that point? Because I wouldn't be around that person anymore.
True.
It's like, I'm just passing it on at that point.
I just find that
I could have
interesting.
given you herpes or syphilis. I gave you baggage instead.
I gave you baggage.
I gave you emotionally baggage.
How you deal with it is
on your choice. Yeah, you just be thankful it's that, because you can fix that. Go to
Yeah.
some counseling, fix your shit. You can't
Yeah.
fix herpes.
Can't fix
You
herpes.
can't fix herpes.
Keeps coming around.
That should be the title. Can't fix herpes.
It might be. You can fix a marriage, you can't fix herpes.
Right. There that's perfect. That's perfect.
If you bring herpes into your marriage,
you're
can't
fine.
fix the
You
marriage.
out. Yeah. You can take the mud road and you'll be pulled out.
Yeah.
But you can't take herpes home.
Can't take herpes. That's the end of it. Oh man. Well, we turned out to be a good week, I think.
Yeah, I think that wasn't too bad of a conversation. It was completely randomity thrown out in there.
I was worried in the beginning.
I never worry in
If
the
you start
beginning.
with us for the
Unless
first 5 minutes, you got okay. But
here's how I view it. If it's not rigid enough to get you through in the first 5 minutes, just throw more foreplay in it.
yeah. Or more alcohol.
No, more alcohol is always a bad idea if you're having that problem.
And that, yeah.
If you're
that's,
not firm enough.
Yeah.
Well, by the looks of my
Anyway.
drink, what time is it?
We're done.
Are we?
Right at 59. Well,
I feel like we didn't
I
cover
guess I
anything.
started
but
that about 5 minutes earlier, so
here's the thing. If we touch one
we're
person,
getting out of class early, kids.
if we went into this with no topic and we randomly went into this, right,
Yeah.
with this conversation,
Yeah.
and with my pessimistic point of views and your optimism, and both of us kind of angling towards the same conversation of fix marriage or don't, and if you don't, then at least fucking carry on and improve on yourself so you don't repeat it again. If we went on to that, maybe it was some kind of, pardon the expression, John, godsend.
Hey,
And maybe there's one person out there listening that just needed to hear this.
or an omen.
Yeah, and we're telling you to fix your shit.
You know,
So,
You never know who's listening and when.
Right.
And there's been times that I just randomly click on something, you know,
And it hits
it's
you funny.
oh,
Yeah. That was it. Yeah.
maybe there's a reason I
No,
clicked on that.
I agree
you know?
with that. Yeah.
And maybe we're that for you.
Yeah.
If so, you're welcome. You can send your
Thanks to
BJ
BJ on the rocks
rocks.
at gmail.com. You can message on Facebook. Look at that. Ooh, it's like 3D.
Yeah.
Isn't it? I wish we had 3D.
Yours
That'd
gets
be
bigger when it's closer to the camera. You know, it is.
awesome.
You know what I'm thinking?
Oh,
Here you
go. It's like shorts.
I see your shorts as big as mine. Anyway, sorry.
Email.
Message
on Facebook. Leave a comment on
comment
YouTube.
on YouTube, yeah. Comment on
Anything.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Comment on the podcast page. I'll see
Yeah.
it. I'll see it.
Yeah.
I'll check every now and then.
Yeah. Send a smoke signal.
Yeah.
Leave a note on one of our cars.
They're all coming from California right now.
Right.
Oh, that's what it is.
The wildflowers. They're just bored.
Did you hear what started that?
Nuh-uh.
Somebody doing a gender reveal party for a baby. That's what I heard.
So with all the red
They had
goo
some
the airplanes
pyro-
are flying. So
Yeah.
what was the gender? I'm curious.
I don't know. I'm gonna go with a woman because
Yeah, because it burned everything
it
down.
fucked everything up.
if
You
they
see
don't,
why I'm still married.
if they don't name that baby Phoenix, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. No shit. Boy or girl.
Boy
I
or
don't
girl,
care.
either way. Either way.
Let's name it 2020.
Yeah, that's pretty much.
Yeah. Sorry, you fucked up the whole world for a bit. Nice.
Yep.
All right, man.
Yeah,
Well,
sounds good. Done with
yes.
the books.
Yeah. See you guys next week.
Yep. Thanks for listening.
Yeah. Cheers.